Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. I was in Vegas last weekend, and to my surprise, they changed the tabletops, except for the bouncy table. They left that one alone. From what I hear, they're going to sit there and take off a layer of foam, quote unquote foam. I don't know if it's kind of like the foam I use to line my toolboxes with, but they call it quote unquote foam. So I asked them, I said, hey, any chance I can have a piece of that phone or even a picture asking for a friend? They didn't say yes or no. So we'll have to see. I might get a piece of it. But anyways, when you're at your casino, you want to dominate the table. And you're like, what does that mean? Dominate the table. That means that you should hit the small, tall, or all at least every 3 turns. At least every 3 turns, you should be able to do that. And if you're not, you need to practice more. And if you go, Jeff, it's a bouncy table. I will show you how to sit there and how I sat there and got the tall and the small on a bouncy table. Now, I got in on Friday. On Saturday, I learned that someone won $6,000 on that bouncy table, and they were playing the don't. So I went directly to that table after I found that out. And I sat there and watched. And if I would play the don't, I'd win while other people are rolling. And then when I went to roll, everyone put their money on the don't. And I'm like, don't need to do that. And I would sit there and watch them lose and lose and lose until finally they just walked off. But $6,000 playing the don't. And yet I can play the same table and I can get different results. And the reason why is because I know how to throw my dice. So let's sit there and see. How would you throw the dice on a bouncy table? I will show you how to sit there and win on Ellis's table, the bouncy table. And there are other tables I know in Vegas that are just the same way, or in your area that are bouncy, because you guys sit there and tell me they're bouncy. What do? I will show you sit there how to do it. And if you're going to sit there and practice at that table, you'd want to go when there's only like yourself or maybe just one other person at that table. You don't want to sit there and learn how to sit there and roll on a bouncy table when the whole table is full. It's not going to happen. But you want to have your turn again and again and again, because if you keep on repeating it, you'll sit there and say, hey, this is working, or oh, I've tried this 2 or 3 times, the same result, I'm changing my dice set. If they wait for the go around the table of 10 people, by the time it got to you, you'd almost forget which dice set was I working on. And sometimes I can throw on the right side or left side, L1 or R1. You need to be able to do that. You need to sit there and say, this is not working. I'm going to sit there and switch to L1 or R1. And if it's a crowded table, there's no possibility that you can, hey guy, you want to switch spot? And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if you want to dominate your table, you got to get there early or when it's less populated time, and you are going to lose some money. Sorry to tell you that. You are going to lose some money. But once you find that niche, I guarantee you the first time you get the tall or the small, you'll win back all that money that you sat there and lost trying to figure it out. I'm not playing the numbers. I'm just playing the pass line. Sometimes I might play a 6. That's it. I'll sit there and do pass line 6, and I'll even put on a small tall for the dealers. That way they keep track of what you're throwing, because that's only $2. $2, and the dealers sit there and move the little chips around, and you know what you've already hit. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but the pass line and the 6 or the 8, or you could do both. It's completely up to you. But that is table domination, and you need to learn to do that. I was at Vaquiva, and I sat there and dominated one day. We came back like a month later, and it was like a new table. I have no idea what happened. To this day, I have no idea what happened. What made the difference so wild? But what I need to do is go back when it's not crowded and it's just myself or myself and one other person, and try L1 a couple of throws, try R1 a couple of throws, and I can sit there and say, oh, that's what it was. I wasn't doing whatever just right. But this video is for those of you that sit there and say, Jeff, what do? I have a bouncy table. I have a solution for you. It's simple. It's absolutely simple. You'll sit there and go, wow. So I'm going to set my camera up a little bit differently. You'll be on this side. But I want to show you kind of, how it's done to help maybe you improve. And hopefully the results on this table will be the same, but probably not because my table is not that bouncy. And you're like, how bouncy are you talking about? I'm talking about every time somebody rolls, a dice goes over the top, except when I roll, because I'm actually rolling it like bowling for dollars. But yeah, that's what kind of bounciness I'm talking about. And you can sit there and dominate. And if you're not dominating, why? Why not sit there and practice on that table when you can, and then sit there and say, oh, I've got it. If I hold the dice here, or if I use this dice set, I can win every single time. So without further ado, here goes today's show. Okay, so this is the camera angle that I'm going to show you. You've got to trust me. I know after April Fools, nobody trusts me. You got to trust me on what I'm rolling. And again, it's not truly what I'm rolling. It is my technique, the way that I am rolling. R1 from the 16-foot table, or excuse me, 14-foot table would be approximately about right here. Approximate. We are going to use an all 7 dice set. And what I do, because my memory is so bad, whenever I sit there and use an all 7 dice set, I always make sure it is the same. If I always make sure it's the same, I can find it simply. Now, you're viewing it just the way I'm doing it. I have the 1-2 on the left. I have the 6-5 on the right. So no matter how you sit there and turn it, we are going to sit there and be 7. I always use it this way just because I just go 1-2, and then I know what the other 2 numbers should be. So let me get this set up here. 1-2, 6-5. And I'm going to sit there and rock it until I'm on the cut edge of the dice. You don't want to sit there and be like this. You want to sit there, and of course it's hard. People sit there and say, hey, I have arthritis or whatever. Yeah, I've had 30 years of being a mechanic and breaking my hands and stuff like that. If I can do it, you can do it. It does take practice. You might have to sit there and try this for 10 minutes each and every day until you can pick up the dice, because you're not allowed to use both hands. You can pick up the dice and rock it, and then just put your fingers just right here. So this roll is basically not a pendulum, but you're going to sit there and continue that motion through. And once you get the speed up, you're going to sit there and release. And what you want it to do is just kiss the wall. You don't want to sit there and throw short, because they will get mad at you. Except at Ellis, because that table is so bouncy. As long as you're in this area, they don't care. But most casinos and most tables are different. They want it to actually kiss. So we don't want to crash our dice into the alligators, but we do want to sit there and make sure that we're legal and that they won't get mad at us. So I won't put any money on. It doesn't matter. It's a $5 table, $10 table, $15, $25, $50, $100 table. If you want to learn how to this table and dominate this table, and as a bouncy table, this is what I suggest you do. So you're going to sit there and keep it level, and then you're going to sit there and just let it go. And again, the first throw, you're like, ooh, that was too hard. So then you're going to back off on your gas here. Or if you sit there and say that wasn't hard enough, you're going to increase your gas. And that's what you're going to do. Okay, we have an 11. I know you guys can't see the table. You just kind of have to trust me. I know, trusting me is a hard thing to do, especially when I do April Fools. The cool thing about this, my all 7, is I always use the same all 7. So it's easy for me to find. You don't want to sit there and have the dealers be impatient while you're trying to find your dice set. They will get mad at you. Now, if you're always playing for the dealers, you have tall, small for them. chances are they won't get too mad at you. They'll want you to win. Because when you win, they win. And if you're not tipping your dealers, you need to just, I don't know, think about what you're doing. I don't want to scold people for not tipping. It's going to be a hard 8. That's why I said if you're going to use this dice set and you're going to practice, but you don't want to sit there and lose all your money by throwing like 32 across or 64 across or however many you want to throw across, just pick one number. Just pick a 6 or an 8, or pick both of them. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a 5. They say if you have animals in your YouTube videos that you're more people are willing to watch your show. So you probably saw a cat walk across. The cat's name is Subaru. Yes, just like the car. His brother, his name is Turbo. So you have Turbo and Subaru. Come on, sweetheart. Gotta move. All right. It's gonna be another 8. For those of you that have fur babies, you just understand that sometimes you come home and that's the best thing you have, just to have your fur baby there with you. It's going to be a 4. Right now, the landing of my dice, one seems to go further than the other, which is kind of bad, but they should try to be identical to each other. There we go. Now, the whole entire time I was doing this, the pit boss, because there's just one pit boss for that one bouncy table. There's also 2 blackjack tables behind them. The pit boss that doesn't know me too well, he definitely had the stink eye at me because he just could not believe that I was doing what I'm doing. Because he's seen that table enough to know I should have 7'd out a long time ago. My cat is still trying to attack the camera, guys. Hopefully we have everything back in order again. Oh, come on. 1 second. Technical difficulties. Come on, sweetheart. We gotta get off the table. All right, back in action. Some people sit there and think, when the dice go off the table, you should take your bets down. Especially if it's a dice setter, because they lose concentration on what they were doing. I can see that, and I'm saying that because I'm hopefully that does not show up, and it didn't. Awesome. Got another 10. That's the reason how come I roll so many 7s before they come out, and then after I sit there and hit my number. It's because your defense goes down. You're like, okay, I'm okay. I don't have to stress so much. And every single time I'll sit there and roll a 7 because I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. It's going to be a 9. Now, all we need is a midnight, and I've got the tall. And all we need is 2 and 3, and I have the small. This is domination right here. This is not random rolling. This is rolling the dice on an axis and hoping that the outcome is what you want. You have a beginning starting point and you have an ending starting point. There goes 11 again. Still looking for midnight. And 2 and 3. We have 8. When you're rolling this way, I wouldn't suggest playing the field. You can see why I would not suggest playing the field. You can if you want to. $5. I was at the $5 table at Ellis. It is open 24/7. I got there probably around 7. The table was full. Then the table cleared out. I probably lost probably a $200 until I figured out what I was doing wrong. And then I rolled like there was no tomorrow. I got this tall, and then in between hitting for the point again, I 7'd out, which didn't affect me. The small tall gets rearranged again. And then I did it again. And there was a guy and his girl that were about ready to head to the cafe. And the dealer stopped them and says, "Hey, don't you want to play? Don't you want to play?" And they sat there and watched me do this. And after I figured it out, I cashed out. And they're like, "Aren't you going to stay?" I was like, "No, man, I'm done." I sat there and got my money back and then some, and I'm leaving. Well, you're going to come back tomorrow. And that's what you want to do. You want to sit there and have those instances. People know that you're doing something that they can't. Still looking for midnight. And there was midnight. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. Okay, we want a 2 and a 3. Heart 8. Six. Easy 6. And that time I 7'd out. One die was about 2 feet away from the other die when it came to a landing. So all I lacked was the 1 and the 2. Excuse me, the 1 and the 2. The 2 and the 3. But I did get I did get my tall. Bouncy table, you're going to have to sit there and just bowling for dollars, like my friend says. Um, my friend Lynn. And you want to keep it low, keep it rolling in the same direction, keep it tumbling, and you'll be just fine. It should never go higher than this level here. And you'll sit there and dominate the table. So this shows that it can work for a bouncy table, because I proved it. It can work for a not so bouncy table. And I could, if I wanted to, roll on this side, which is not bouncing at all. But I mean, you guys get it. This is how you sit there and roll, and it does wonders. If nothing else is going to work, this for sure will work. Give it a try. Let me know how you do. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. The biggest thing is my interaction. I know last week or the week before I was really busy, and I probably have some people I didn't respond to. And again, if you have a strategy you want me to do, write it out. You got to tell me everything. Got to cross the I's and the T's on it so that I don't mess it up. And if it's something that's like, wow, how come I didn't do this sooner? I'll sit there and send you a T-shirt. I'll sit there and go down down to the other end of the town and have them make a T-shirt just for you. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.